sick of people at ESPN or Sports Center who think they have their heads on their shoulders but really don't? Well, it's time for the Jimmy the K Sports Show. We're going to give you the most urgent sports news. Now sit back, buckle up, and get ready for the #1 sports show on the web. Here we go, my sports friends. Woo! How y'all doing this Tuesday evening? You see me each and every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time here on Ustream, and not only Ustream, but Facebook Live as well. So I thank you for each and every week coming out and stopping by to see me, Jimmy the K. Remember to stop by each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time for those that are new to the show. That is our airtime. Lots of stuff to go on with this show. I'm going to take the gloves off yet again against ESPN. But I'm going to do that towards the end of the show because the biggest thing that has happened over the weekend was that of the NFL draft. That's definitely something I want to go over with you. The 30 teams, the drafts, is who they drafted. My pick as being their best pick in the draft, in the NFL draft for each team as well. And I also want to take a look at what's been going on with that of the bat, of the young rookie from the Texas Rangers and his glove, on to be honest with you. He got AL Rookie of the month for April, Nomar Mazara. What is going on with that young man? And finally, again, towards the end of the show, I will take the gloves off against ESPN as I have. And we'll continue to slam them each and every week as I can because, hey, they have to be politically correct because they're sponsors. I don't have to be. You know, if political correctness is something that you want, you're at the wrong place because there's nothing PC about me. Hey, how's it going, my boy Matt Mann from Louisiana? Actually, I graduated with him, so stopping on by to say hi. Well, I'm saying hi back. So, with that being said, let's go right ahead and get into this beast of a show and look at what the NFL teams did, starting with the Tennessee Titans and moving on down from there. The Tennessee Titans, these were their draft picks. They got Jack Conklin, number 8 in the first round, Kevin Todd, Austin Johnson, Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard, Tajay Sharp, LaShawn Sims, Sebastian Tritola, and Aaron Wallace, Kalen Reed. Now, out of all the picks, who is my pick to be the lights out person, the person that's going to bring the Tennessee Titans to eliteness? And honestly, you know, a lot of people are going to say Derrick Henry because, you know, he's a great running back out of the University of Alabama. You know, I could see that in one way. I could see it in others as well. Some could say Jack Conklin because the fact is the Tennessee Titans needed to move on a tackle. They got that tackle. But my pick for being the breakout player and the player that's going to be the elite for the Tennessee Titans is that of Kevin Dodd. Kevin Dodd is going to be that of the elite player for the Tennessee Titans out of all that they drafted. The Baltimore Ravens, their draft picks were Ronnie Stanley, Kamali Correa, Bronson Kafusi, Tavon Young, Chris Moore, Alex Lewis, Willie Henry, Kenneth Dixon, Matt Judon, Keenan Reynolds, Maurice Canede. Now, personally, my pick for being the breakout player for the Baltimore Ravens is that of the pass blocker tackle Ronnie Stanley. He's going to be that of somebody that can go out and be a pass blocker and can help their running game go above and beyond. The Jacksonville Jaguars, you know, they drafted Jalen Ramsey, Miles Jack, Yannick. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Najagu. Sheldon Day. Hopefully, I did not mispronounce that name. Tyrone Holmes, Brandon Allen, and Jonathan Woodward. Not only did the Jacksonville Jaguars line up and get Jalen Ramsey for their quarterback, but they got Miles Jack as well. So, out of everybody that they drafted, who's going to be the elite pick for me on the Jacksonville Jaguars? My elite pick is definitely going to be that of Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey was somebody that I wanted the Dallas Cowboys to go after. Instead, as we will see here shortly, the Dallas Cowboys did not go after Jalen Ramsey. They went after an offensive player. Jalen Ramsey is that, in my opinion, of a pedigree of that of Josh Norman. When you get that type of pedigree, you're going to get turnovers. You're going to get points off of turnovers. And you're going to be an elite team. Will the Jacksonville Jaguars come out swinging for the fences and be that of an elite team right now? No, but adding Jalen Ramsey and even that of Miles Jack will help them in their addition of drafting those two, along with the other four that they drafted as well. The San Diego Chargers. The San Diego Chargers draft. Joey Bosa, Hunter Henry, Max Tuerk, Joshua Perry, Jadavis Brown, Drew Kaser, Derek Watt, Donovan Clark. Joey Bosa is my pick. Joey Bosa is my pick to be that of the elite player for that of the San Diego Chargers. Now we go through the other teams as well. Next up for the draft was that of the Detroit Tigers. The Detroit Tigers drafted Taylor Decker, A'Shawn Robinson, Graham Glasgow, Miles Killebrew, Joe Dahl, Antoine Williams, Jake Rudock, Anthony Zettel, Jimmy Landis, and Dwayne Washington. I'm going to go with the elite player for the Detroit Tigers drafting is A'Shawn Robinson. He's going to be that of a player that if he can develop a pass rush, look out, because he will come in and he will come in hot and ready and ready to nail your quarterback. Next up is the Chicago Bears. Who did they draft? They drafted Leonard Floyd, Cody Whitehair, Jonathan Bullard, Nick Wiatkowski, Deion Bush, DeAndre Hall, Jordan Howard, DeAndre Houston Carson, Daniel Braverman. The Chicago Bears traded up to get their pass rusher and that of Leonard Floyd. And, you had Cody Whitehair and Jonathan Bullard, which looked to relatively be a good bargain as well for that of the Chicago Bears. Up next is the New York Giants. Who did the New York Giants draft? Eli Apple, Sterling Shepard, Darian Thompson, B.J. Goodson, Paul Perkins, Gerald Adams. My best pick and that of somebody that's going to be elite that in the New York Giants organization is that of Sterling Shepard. Offensively, now you've got Eli Manning, who has, if Victor Cruz doesn't come back to 100%, not only does he have the one great receiver that they have, but then they add that of Sterling Shepard. Y'all can help me out. I cannot think for the life of me of that receiver's name. Great catch. He's the guy that can catch one-handed and does all those acrobatic catches for the New York Giants. but adding Sterling Shepard actually helps them out as well. The Houston Texans. Houston Texans. Who did the Houston Texans draft, my friends? The Houston Texans out there drafted Will Fuller, Nick Martin being the brother of that is Zach Martin from the Dallas Cowboys, Braxton Miller, Tyler Irvin, K.J. Dillon, DJ Reader. They got much faster in the receiving corps by adding Will Fuller and Braxton Miller to their wide receiver corps. And not only did that, but they traded up to add Nick Martin, who's that of the Dallas Cowboys player, Zach Martin, and DJ Reader. That could definitely help off in the middle on both sides of the ball. Next up in the draft, we have the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seattle Seahawks drafted Jermaine Ifedi, Jerron Reed, CJ Process, Nick Vedette, Reese Adhiamo, Quentin Jefferson, Alex Collins, Joey Hunt, Kenny Lawler, and Zach Brooks. Out of the elite player, I'm going to go with Jerron Reed being that of the elite player that the Seattle Seahawks are going to have on their team to be the breakout player. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are up next. They drafted Vernon Hargreaves, Noah Spence, Roberto Aguijo, Ryan Smith, Caleb Beninock, and Devontae Bond, Dan Vitale. They traded in the draft for a kicker, Vernon Hargreaves. And that's definitely going to be something that's going to shoot them in the foot. That long run, is it something that happens a lot in the NFL where you draft a kicker? Typically not. It's not something where you go out and draft a kicker because, drafting a kicker is just unheard of, especially in the first round, 11th overall. It just doesn't happen very often. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going after something that they felt like was a need. They went after it. Right this year, will it be something that will be addressed and be elite for them? Possibly not. But in the long run, could it be something that could help them out in the long run? Quite definitely. Kicking-wise is something that they needed. And years from now, they could very well look at being a better kicking team than what they are this year or any other year at that. Washington Redskins are up next. Josh Doctson, Sua Cravens, Kendall Fuller, Matthew Ioannidis, Nate Suffield, Stephen Daniels, and Keith Marshall. I'm going with Keith Marshall being that of the elite player. Kendall Fuller, Kendall Fuller being that of the elite player for the Washington Redskins. New York Giants, they drafted Darren Lee, Christian Hackenberg, Jordan Jenkins, Justin Burris, Brandon Shell, Lack Edwards, Charone Peak. Deron Lee fell right into their laps and give them a player with range that can cover and blitz on top of that. So Deron Lee is going to be my breakout player for that of the New York Jets. Next up in the draft would be that of the Miami Dolphins. This one we'll discuss just a tad bit. We're not going to take a whole lot of time going out on it. Miami Dolphins drafted Laramie Tunzel, Xavier Howard, Kenyon Drake, Leonte Carew, Jakeem Grant, Jordan Lucas, Brandon Doherty, and Thomas Durante. Now, for the few minutes that I'm going to spend on this, or a few seconds, depending on how I feel, Laramie Tunzel. Laramie Tunzel went 13 overall. There were a couple of teams ahead of him that were going to draft him, but a picture of him smoking out of a bong ended up on his Twitter site. And by it being on his Twitter site, kind of landed him a little lower in the draft than what we expected. So, with that being said, do not smoke a bong going into the draft first round, because you're going to get caught and you're going to end up going to the Miami Dolphins of all teams. The Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys drafted Ezekiel Elliott, Jalen Smith, Malik Collins, Charles Tapper, Dak Prescott, Anthony Brown, Kayvon Frazier, Darius Jackson, Rico Gathers. The Cowboys went with a running back, and that of Ezekiel Elliott, for 4th overall. My thoughts are that, the Cowboys get their big three now, with Tony Romo, Dez Bryant, and Ezekiel Elliott. However, they already had 5 or 6 running backs in the crock pot, so to speak. So now you've got to take a few out and decide to trade them or put them out on waivers or whatever you must do to get rid of them, because the truth of the matter is you've got too many running backs now, and Ezekiel Elliott's going to be that number one guy. But having the three-headed monster that Jerry Jones wanted with Tony Romo, Ezekiel Elliott, and Dez Bryant, the problem with that is Tony Romo's got to be healthy. Dez Bryant's got to be healthy. Ezekiel Elliott, I'm pretty confident, will remain healthy, but Tony Romo and Dez Bryant have to remain healthy for them to even have that three-headed monster that they used to have with Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, and Emmitt Smith. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and I lost the name of that guy. Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, and Emmitt Smith. That three-headed monster. They did take Dak Prescott in the 4th round, number 135th. Big question is he a quarterback that can be the Dallas Cowboys' future? Quite definitely. I think he's somebody that could be the Dallas Cowboys' future. It's definitely not Kellen Moore. And Cowboys did okay in that draft. Up next is the Cincinnati Bengals. William Jackson III, Tyler Boyd, Nick Vigil, Andrew Billings, Christian Westenman, Cody Core, Clayton Fajadilum. Out of that draft, I have to say the best available they got was William Jackson III in the 1st round. He's the best player and the elite player that's going to come out and be the player that's going to be elite this year for the Cincinnati Bengals. Next up, the Denver Broncos. Paxton Lynch, Adam Gottis, Justin Simmons, Devontae Booker, Connor McGovern, Andy Janovic, Will Parks, and Riley Dixon. Out of those players, Paxton Lynch is going to be that of the elite player. He's going to be the person that the Denver Broncos can look upon as being their future. So good luck, and Paxton Lynch is my breakout player for that of the Denver Broncos. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Their draft pick, Robert Kimdichie, Brandon Williams, Evan Bohm, Marquis Christian, Cole Toner, and Harlan Miller. Robert Kimdichie was a steal. He has character problems, but he will be a talent. He's definitely going to be their breakout player for the Arizona Cardinals. Next up is that of the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, Zach Lawson, Reggie Ragland, Adolphus Washington, Cardell Jones, Jonathan Williams, Colby Listenby, Kayvon Seymour. The Bills got their toughness and that of Shaq Lawson and Reggie Ragland. And those are going to be my two elite players of that of the Buffalo Bills. Next up, you have the New Orleans Saints. They drafted Sheldon Rankins, Michael Thomas Von Bell, David Onyemata, Daniel Lasco. Some of these names are just impossible to pronounce. Sheldon Rankins is a plug-and-play starter, and believe it or not, he's going to be my elite for that of the New Orleans Saints, believe it or not. The Cleveland Browns, of all teams. Who wants to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns anymore, right? Corey Coleman, Emmanuel Ogbay, Carl Nassib, Sean Coleman, Cody Kessler, Joe Schobert, Ricardo Luis Kindred, or Derek Kindred, Seth Duvalve, Jordan Payton, Spencer Drango, Rashard Higgins, Trey Caldwell, Scooby Wright III. Out of those, who's going to be my elite player for the Cleveland Browns? Emmanuel Ogbay is going to be the elite player. He's going to be somebody that's going to come out for the Cleveland Browns defensively and come out strong. He's not going to come out like a college player that he was at OSU. He's going to come out being the NFL player that they're going to make him into an elite player. Pittsburgh Steelers drafted Artie Burns, Sean Davis, Javon Hargrove, Gerald Hawkins, Travis Feeney, DeMarcus Ayers, and Tyler Matakevich. Of all those players, I'm going to have to go with Javon Hargrove being that of the elite player, and my pick of being the elite player for the Steelers coming up this season. San Francisco 49ers, DeForest Buckner, Joshua Garnett, Will Redmond, Rashad Robinson, Ronald Blair, John Theus, Fane Cooper, Jeff Driscoll, Kelvin Taylor, and Aaron Burbridge, along with Prince Charles Iwara. DeForest Buckner was the right call in the 7th overall pick, but trading Joshua Garnett makes him a must-hit draft pick as a late first-rounder. Oakland Raiders picked Carl Joseph, Jihad Ward, Sheila Quay, Calhoun, Connor Cook, DeAndre Washington, Corey James, and Vadal Alexander. I'm going to go with Carl Joseph as being my elite player for the Oakland Raiders. The Atlanta Falcons, Keanu Neal, Deion Jones, Austin Hooper, Devondre Campbell, Wes Sweetser, Devin Fuller. The Falcons' best player and elite player that I'm going to pick is that of Deion James. Next up, in the NFL draft, you have 25 through 28, and 25 through 28 look like this. The Minnesota Vikings, Laquan Treadwell, Mackenzie Alexander, Willie Beavers, Kentrell Brothers, Moritz Boehringer, David Morgan, Stephen Weatherly, Jaron Kersey, and no relation to me, Jimmy Decay, I promise. The Vikings went out and got Laquan Treadwell and Mackenzie Alexander in value spots, and those are my two elite players that are going to be breakouts for the Minnesota Vikings. Green Bay Packers, Kenny Clark, Jason Spriggs, Kyler Fackrell, Blake Martinez, Dean Lowry, Trevor Davis, Kyle Murphy. Out of all those players, Kenny Clark is going to be my elite player for that of the Green Bay Packers. New York Patriots, or New England Patriots. Tyrese Jones, Joe Thuney, Jacoby Brissett. I'm thinking food right now. I'm sorry, guys. Vincent Valentine, Malcolm Mitchell, Camu Grugier Hill, Alondron Roberts, Ted Karras, and Devin Lucien. Cyrus Jones fits that of the Patriots mold, and they were able to add a quality route runner wideout in Malcolm Mitchell, along with a solid interior lineman, Joe Thuney. So congratulations, Cyrus Jones will be that of my elite player there. The Indianapolis Colts go with Ryan Kelly, TJ Green, LaRaven, Clark, Hasten, Ridgeway, Antonio Morrison, Joe Haig, Trevor Bates, and Austin Blythe. Ryan Kelly was an extremely important pick for the team, and he's my elite player for that of the Indianapolis Colts, whom allegedly and reportedly Peyton Manning is looking at being the front office executive for at some point. Kansas City Chiefs. We have Chris Jones, Kivere Russell, Parker Eiringer, Eric Murray, Demarcus Robinson, Kevin Hogan, Tyreek Hill, DJ White, and Dottie Nicholas. They get the mega talent like Chris Jones, but he has to keep his motor revved at times. So he's definitely my elite player for the Kansas City Chiefs. Philadelphia Eagles get Carson Wentz, Isaac Siamalu, Wendell Smallwood, Halapoulo Vaitai, Blake Countess, Jalen Mills, Alex McAllister, and Joe Walker. Out of that, I'm picking Carson Wentz as being the elite player. You have Sam Bradford, who is reportedly not answering his phones or texts from that of the Philadelphia Eagles because of them drafting Carson Wentz second overall in the NFL draft. He's demanding a trade as well. I have to look at both sides of the coin. As a lot of people say, it's a sport. It's different than being a burger flipper over at the Burger Shack. It's not any different than being a burger flipper at the Burger Shack. It's the same basic scenario. If your general manager at the Burger Shack tells you that you're going to be the manager coming up tomorrow at the Burger Shack, but then he goes behind your back and hires somebody else to be a manager, and then you come in the next day and he goes, no, you're the assistant manager, are you going to be ticked? Are you going to be that of a crybaby in some certain extent to the realm? Yes, you're going to be. Everyone, it's built into our mold. That's built into us. So we can all say that Sam Bradford is being a crybaby, but the truth of the matter is we got to take a step back and look at it as if we were put in the same situation, whether it be at the Burger Shack or in the NFL or MLB or wherever it may be. The truth of the matter is we're all going to be that crybaby. The truth of the matter is it's built into our mold. So, am I happy that Sam Bradford is being a crybaby over this? No, I think he needs to grow up in the situation. But the truth of the matter is we'd all do it. We'd all do it. It's no different than you being a manager at the Burger Shack, as I just recently gave you the scenario, that your general manager comes to you today and says you're going to be the manager at the Burger Shack. Then he comes in tomorrow and says, hey, this is our new manager, Joe Bob Billy Bean, and you're going to be the assistant manager. Hey, you just told me yesterday that I was going to be manager today. Well, yeah, that was yesterday. This is today. You're just going to have to get over it. Well, the truth of the matter is it's built into all of us. We'd be that crybaby. The question is, would we not answer our phone? Would we not answer our text? Probably not. That's a Sam Bradford type deal. But it's all built into us. So to say that we wouldn't be a crybaby in the same situation, we're just lying to ourselves. Los Angeles Rams come up next. Jared Goff, Tyler Higbee, Pharaoh Cooper, Tamarick Hemingway, Josh Forrest, Mike Thomas. Definitely the Jared Goff is going to be my elite player and my pick for being that of the greatness and the Los Angeles Rams organization. Finally, the Carolina Panthers. They drafted Vernon Butler, James Bradbury, Daryl Worley, Zach Sanchez, and Bo Sandlin. My elite player, believe it or not, is going to come on the defensive end of that of Zach Sanchez from the University of Oklahoma. We all saw what he could do defensively for the University of Oklahoma, and we're definitely going to be able to come out and see what he can do defensively, for that of the Carolina Panthers when given the chance. He's definitely somebody that went 141st in the draft, but he's definitely somebody that can come out and be elite for that of the Carolina Panthers. So Zach Sanchez is my elite player for that of the Carolina Panthers. So, with that being said, what else do we want to talk about since going over the NFL draft? I want to talk a little bit of NBA news. This is quite relevant because we all know, if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, that Dirk Nowitzki has already stated that he's going to opt out of his contract. Reports are that, he's going to opt out of his contract, but he's going to sign a lesser deal in Dallas to quite hopefully land some more players and talent around him to get Dallas to championship caliber that it used to be back in the days. But, if the big question is if he opts out and Dallas decides not to re-sign him, which the truth of the matter is he's going to take a lesser deal because he wants to remain in Dallas. He's been quite supportive of the Dallas community. And the Dallas community has been quite supportive of that of Dirk Nowitzki. So for us to think that he's going to sign with another team is probably not going to happen because the truth of the matter is a lot of reports are saying that Dirk Nowitzki is going to sign a lesser deal to get more elite players to sign with Dallas over long term. So that's a little bit of what's going on NBA-wise. What else do I want to discuss about? I want to talk about that of young rookie Nomar Mazara from the Texas Rangers. Nomar Mazara won the AL Rookie of the Month for April, if I'm not mistaken. And just last night, not only did he hit a home run, the go-ahead home run, but he had an outfield assist at home plate to give the Texas Rangers the 2-1 victory. This is something that we're seeing out of the Texas Rangers, not only with Nomar Mazara, but with that of Brett Nicholas coming out from the minors, and showing how elite that they can be. Nomar Mazara continues to shine, and as Nomar Mazara continues to shine, we're going to continue to see that the Texas Rangers not only have talent continuing to spew out and into the major league level, as we've seen with Nomar Mazara and that of Brett Nicholas at catcher, but we're going to continue to see that churning out of that of the major league level as well. So I want to tip my hats off to Nomar Mazara for the AL Rookie of the Month in April. Not only that, for his elite play of late. We're getting to see how this young kid can stack up against some of the best, and he's really stacking up right now. Now, to the final thing that I want to get to, and that's taking the gloves off against ESPN. The truth of the matter is, ESPN has to be politically correct because they're sponsors. Me, I don't have to be politically correct because right now I don't have the sponsors, and I also would have the nads to tell the sponsors, hey, this is my views, these are my views. You don't necessarily have to agree with my views, but what I would like for you to do is to not make me have to change my views because of you wanting me to be politically correct. We're getting the downward spiral of what's happening at ESPN right now. Curt Schilling was fired, and now we've got a lot of big names leaving ESPN network. And not only that, but word is that came out today, and I'll post this on the All About Sports Zone page so that you can see this. ESPN has just got in cahoots with that of a young sports organization that caters to 18 to 34-year-olds, and now they're looking to use that as a platform to get younger sports fans because the older generation is starting to jump ship. Well, why did they just join forces with this organization? I'll tell you why they just joined forces with this organization. Because so many young people can be brainwashed into having politically correct views stuck into their heads, and no one really cares about it. So ESPN is now going after that young generation. Me, I've got to take the gloves off because ESPN has done nothing but lost host. We got people like Skip Bayless jumping ship. He's going over to Fox Sports. You got big names like him going over to Fox Sports. And, the truth of the matter is, if you look at all this, a lot of these big names did not state that they were leaving ESPN until after that of Curt Schilling leaving ESPN. The truth of the matter is, Curt Schilling is 100% right. ESPN has some of the biggest racists in sports commentating. That's plain and simple as that. The truth of the matter is, Curt Schilling says something as small as, I don't want a man dressing up as a woman following my wife or daughter or grandchildren into a restroom, because the truth of the matter is, there are times when those guys are perverts and they're going to follow them in and do things to them that are unwarranted. But Curt Schilling says, hey, I don't want those people in, and those people are not going to go in on my watch. And ESPN says, that's not politically correct. You're fired. Get out of here. But yet, again, you've got people like Stephen A. Smith who spew race bait and stuff all over their network. And we all know it's race baiting because of the antics that they continue to use. So my big question for everyone out there, and you saw this, and I'll leave this up for a while, is the worldwide leader in sports digging itself into a hole right now? Is the worldwide leader in sports digging itself into a hole right now? I'll tell you this. I've never been, nor will I ever be, that of a fan of networks who cater to their sponsors. I get it. If you're a corporation like ESPN, you have the nads to be able to throw certain people who don't fit your agenda under the bus. Here's the biggest problems with this, though. Number one, you start to lose hosts who are fed up with your tactics. If you look at ESPN, since the firing of Curt Schilling, other hosts have decided to take bigger deals with another powerhouse, that of Fox Sports. Now, if you ask me, their timing is absolutely awkward, and that of a couple of these hosts waited till after Schilling was fired to state that they were leaving ESPN for that of the powerhouse of Fox Sports. So, I get that ESPN has an agenda, but has that agenda caused themselves to dig themselves into a hole? If you look at the amount of hosts that were not fired but decided to leave after the Schilling fiasco, then I am pretty sure we will hear sometime down the road, down in the future, it was the agenda of ESPN that caused them to jump ship. Number two, what's the number two reason? Your ratings start to take a downward spiral. I've noticed the ratings over at ESPN of late, and this not only since the Schilling fiasco, but every time Stephen A. Smith spews some race baiting news that he thinks is relevant. The ratings will continue to take a hit. And if I can do anything to throw this company under the bus, then I'm going to do it. I've got the nads to do it. I don't have the sponsorships that I've got to worry about to tell me, no, you can't do that. Because the truth of the matter is, I'd have the nads to tell them, hey, guess what? You know, I'm just my own host. You sponsor me. Yes, I understand that. But these are my views. This is how it's going to work. I get that. But the ratings will only continue to take a hit. I'm constantly tired of the politically correct crap that goes on at ESPN. And yes, I get it. They have to keep their sponsors and clients happy. But when is it that you are going to take a stand against what many of your viewers are sick and tired about? Instead, you continue to cater to cowards, so to speak. You only care about your money and sponsors, but care less about your viewers. Here's the little problem with that, though. If you don't have viewers to buy the sponsored goods, then you start to lose with the so-called, then you start to lose money because the viewers and your ratings take hits. Sponsors notice this, and comes the downward spiral. Do I think this is the case with the so-called worldwide leader in sports? Absolutely. I can bet you a dime to a donut. This is it. This is the last straw. If they continue to tick off the right amount of people, then your network either one can no longer survive, or two, you have to rethink your logic. Clearly, this is about to happen at ESPN, and like I said, I bet you a dime to a donut this does. But the real question is, will it happen in our lifetime? And again, the last thing I want to say is, and I've tweeted Curt Schilling 3 or 4 times already. I'm being quite persistent with him. But I want Curt Schilling to know that he's welcome on my show anytime. His opinion matters, and he sure the heck will not be railroaded by my show. So, with that being said, that's this week's Jimmy the K Sports Show. I thank you for stopping by, not only here at Ustream, but on Facebook Live as well. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by. We're live each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time here on Ustream and Facebook Live. And just to let you know, I am in the process of quite possibly looking for co-hosts to this show. It's something that I've discussed with other people as well to see if we can't catapult this show to the next level. So I've sent a message to the American Broadcasting School's their job placement, the person, Michelle McConnell, and we're looking to hopefully get some feedback from people there, getting co-hosts If that's the case, then we'll definitely continue to shoot Facebook Live. Ustream, I'm not for sure if it has a picture-in-picture, but I do Google Plus at times, which I haven't done in a while. But I'll get familiar with that so that I can definitely have show hosts, as many of y'all have emailed me that y'all would like to have. Um, One co-host that I'm looking at doing her own sports show. I will keep her nameless for privacy reasons, but I've definitely told her that she can definitely be my co-host at any point in time. And when she gets her sports show off the road, then she can definitely be one of my co-hosts. But I've definitely sent a message to the American Broadcasting School's job placement people, and we're definitely looking at taking resumes and stuff. As this is definitely a no pay position, but it's definitely something that I'm looking at using to help catapult that of students at the American Broadcasting School. So I want to give a shout out to y'all there at the American Broadcasting School. Michelle McConnell, thank you very much for accepting my message and shooting that to the job placement students. And I look forward to hearing from them as well. Again, I'm live each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time at Ustream or Facebook Live. I want to thank you for stopping by. I am your host, Jimmy the K. You see me each and every Tuesday. Until next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, I'm Jimmy the K. Peace out.